All right, so we will get started today. Thank you all for joining our FIC Coalition meeting. It's always very good to hear from everybody and hear what's happening across our country. Yesterday, I sent an email along with the agenda with a number of links that Ursa has shared with us. And they are beneficial links to look at when it comes to knowing things such as what to do if somebody in your club has coronavirus, making sure that you look at your membership strategies and things that we can learn from other countries. So if you haven't taken a look at that yet, I suggest that you do take a little browse and make sure that you are up to date with the information that Ursa is sharing with us. So today we have a couple things that we want to get through. The first thing, like always, we're going to go through our government lobbying, and then we're going to have a little bit of an open discussion about cost increases on supplies, what you're seeing, what the trend is, kind of your outlook. So anybody is able to speak up during that time, and then we will go through the different provinces, which we do in previous meetings. So with that, I will pass it over to Chris to give us a little update on the government.
Sure. Thank you, Trisha, and thanks again. It's great to see everyone. And just my update this week is relatively short. There's not a lot of new information coming out that I haven't already briefed you on. There were a couple of questions around the rent subsidy program and the possibility of an extension beyond the end of June, which is when the first, or is when the program is set to expire. I frankly am still seeking more information about that. I've contacted a couple people in the government, and I spoke to someone at the Retail Council yesterday. So no one has heard anything more than we know right now about a possible extension. So I doubt it at this point, since it's now the 26th of June, but I will keep working on that until I can find out a definitive answer either way, if there's a possibility of having an extension to the rent subsidy program. Aside from that, the CEBA opened up today, the emergency bank account. Might be of interest to some members. The applications are being accepted as of today. And if there's any other information that you would like, let me know.
Are there any questions for Chris?
One of the questions I had is, that's a good update, and we can grab most of that from the news, but what are we lobbying for right now? Is there any efforts on that end? Asking officials for anything, or?
Well, I will defer to Scott and Trisha on that. We have obviously been working very hard on the rent subsidy program. Was one that we were working on. We will be shifting as we move forward towards what we can put in the window for the federal budget that the government is seeking comments by August 7th for federal budget ideas. So that's something that we'll be working on towards putting a submission into that, particularly around the tax credit issue. And we have done some preliminary outreach on that. But primarily this update has been focused around what's new or what's happening around the current crisis.
Yeah, I can speak to our strategy that we'd like to deploy for lobbying efforts. We really want to leverage the provincial councils and actually try to make as much headwinds as possible provincially. There does seem to be more of a listening with our provincial governments, to actually sit down and have meetings, and we've had some success, and we've actually built some relationships through this crisis. So we actually, with grassroots, we're going to be pivoting somewhat to focus our lobbying dollars on provincial matters.
Just on that note, Scott, I have on my desk, hopefully by the end of today or by Monday, you'll have a draft outline of our thoughts on how that might roll out.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All right, well then, thank you, and we will keep you updated for sure on what our lobbying efforts are, how we are proceeding, and we do need the cooperation from our provincial council members, and we're always looking to build our provincial teams. So if there is anybody who is not currently on a provincial task force that wishes to be, please connect with me and we can make sure that you are involved so you can connect a little bit closer to those who have been working diligently to make sure that we have whatever we need for our industry. All right, so the next item on our list here is open discussion. The first thing that I would like to bring up is the cost increases. So we have been hearing back from clubs about how costs have quadrupled when it comes to the amount of things that you're buying for supplies, cleaning supplies, this and that. So we just wanted to get a verbal gauge of what that's looking like across different industries at the moment, or across different clubs and structures. So if somebody wants to start that.
Well, it's Balal from Saskatchewan. One of the things that we've noticed is we were using rags before we got to the paper towels, but we're going through probably, I don't know, about $500 to $600 in paper towels per club. Although we're only at about 70% of our attendance as we would be normally in June compared to last year. So that's gone up, and then just the other cleaning stuff has been nominal for us, I believe. And then the hand sanitizer is the other huge expense. One of the things that we've done is we've discontinued towels, so some of the cost and labor has shifted over. So we are absorbing some of it. But some of my thoughts around that are, and we can discuss this later, but you know, is the industry or our operators thinking about, I don't know, charging $1 more per member? Or, you know, right now it sounds crazy to even increase prices, but somehow to recover some of that. But that's what I'm seeing on my end. I'll just keep it brief. I'll listen to everyone else.
Thanks, Balal. Anyone else want to jump in here?
Yeah, Melody from Quebec. I do agree with the price increasing. And you know what, maybe the market before were actually a little bit low, and it's an opportunity to rise it up a little bit. So we did increase our prices, but at the same time give a discount, so it's less aggressive to afford to have more products for the hand and have more people cleaning. But I think it's a good opportunity to do it, and it's acceptable. We have the student that really they understand we have less spaces and we have more expenses, and you know, it's the offer and the demand, so the price has no choice than raise. So to be reasonable, but I think it has to, and it is accepted now.
Thank you, Melody. Any other comments about this?
Carl from Club 16. I guess I'll just mention on the wipe side of things, if you can become creative with other options besides the wipes are our biggest increase in expense at Club 16. We're going through boxes upon boxes of certainty wipes because we're also ensuring that we're monitoring members and they're wiping their machines down before and after use. So that's been a significant increase. So any creativity there while maintaining a safe and healthy environment, definitely I'd be looking at that. We're trying to look at that as well and gauge where we can have some savings there, because it's not, that cost increase isn't sustainable with the wipes.
So you're using wipes and there's no one-time paper towel use to just throw it away after? You're finding you want to do the wipes, because we used to do the wipes, but yeah, they were costly before COVID. I can't even imagine how many wipes we'd go through before. Oh, now, you know.
Can you describe your paper towel situation, what you're doing there?
So what we did was we hung paper towel just throughout the club. Like, I'd say we're about 25 to 35,000 square feet normally. So there's probably 18 paper towel dispensers throughout the floor with a brown paper towel. And then it serves as a single use. And then you have the sanitizer there in a bottle. People can spray it, clean it, and then throw it away before and after each use of machine. And then you have hand sanitizers that we have separately throughout the club. The liquid one's cheaper than the gel stuff, and people are using that to clean their hands. And I think that's how we're accomplishing it. We used to have about 12 wipe stations before. This was about 2 years ago, but it's just so costly that we pulled the wipes. So we did not reintroduce them this time again because we kind of knew the cost. And you know, the hand sanitizing wipes, there's a few. The one that is actually approved for COVID is, you're right, it's very, very expensive per wipe. It's very cost prohibitive, 100%.
We did the same thing with the paper, and we have a sanitizing bottle on each equipment. That doesn't cost a lot because it's a product that you mix with water, so it's very not costly. And we show people to spray on the paper, and everybody's doing it. It's really so, because the like you say, it was not affordable to have the towel. It's working very well, very, very well. We install a lot of dispenser with I don't remember the name of that, in poubelle, garbage, sorry, with garbage, and it's working very, very, very well. Sorry for that. When I don't find a word in English, I always look Nathalie, but sometimes it's coming together. So we did the same thing. And like you were saying, the lady from Idolem, I don't remember your name, sorry. I also think that it's a period where people, it's reasonable and it's acceptable to rethink our price list, because I think that our market is underestimated anyway in the product and the service, and I think that the people will understand the value, did understand the value of what we are doing, and we have to work for that. And we had the conversation with Nathalie 2 weeks ago about the fact that we are the health system. The health system is not the hospital, they are the disease system. And I think it's time for us to promote that a lot more. And it's not by decreasing, I think, our price, and it's not by selling, having promotion all the time, that we will do the job. When we have the chance to speak and to communicate to people, it's not about promotion that we need to do. It's about what we offer, why we are so important, and that's the value. And right now, there is not a place where you're going that is more clean than a gym. The other place is probably an operation room in a hospital. So, and now in our society, it has a lot of value. We don't want to underestimate what we're doing right now. I think it's important that we stay together, very strong in that. And that we have a very clear plan that we need to increase our price, of be able to offer the best environment for everybody, not just for today, not just for tomorrow, not just because the government says so, because health club, it's about health. That's my comment.
Thank you, Evelyn. That was very well said. All right, so the next point of discussion that I wanted to bring up was an article that came out a few days ago that mentioned that there is a low risk of COVID-19 spreading in gym clubs. So did everybody get a chance to see that article? I sent it out last night as well.
Yep.
So if anybody wanted to speak to what their thoughts were about this article, how we could use this article, as well as just overlining benefits of having research like this, and or is it more important to stay cautious right now?
I'd like to comment. It's Terry from Jim Profits Group in Toronto. How's everyone doing?
Yep.
It was a rather intriguing article. I kind of compared it to a recent article I read from the Director of Infectious Disease Control in Toronto General Hospital, who of course takes the other end of the spectrum. But when you really look into the article, all they're saying is if you're being careful, you'll be safe. So I think a gym is no greater risk or less risk than anywhere else as long as we follow the protocols. So in my opinion, the protocols stay intact. I was hoping for some miracle response where, well, guess what? Gyms are more safe than anywhere else. But of course, we know that's not true. So at the end of the day, as long as we do what we need to do, I think we'll be fine. And for those that don't, they won't.
It's 100% agreed. Yeah, that's exactly what the article is. And, you know, to convince members that going to a grocery store or the gym, yeah, everywhere, if you follow the protocols, that's the only way to be safe. There's no miracle. But, you know, to communicate that to our members, I think it's important.
If the article would have read, gyms are safer than anywhere else, then we would have a great reopening, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we wish.
It's Graham here from FitBiz Weekly. I just wanted to add too, there was an interesting comment on the article on the website there that kind of pointed out that basically all of the study group that was using the gym, like they're sort of disputing that how valid it is, because nobody really actually had COVID before or after. So essentially everyone that went to the gym for the whole period of time never had COVID. So therefore it's no surprise really that there was no transmission.
Good point.
So I'm just saying there may be some questions about it.
How useful it would be. Should we commission our own study? Because I think that will be very costly and time consuming. So we could look at it. We could look at some educational partners to assist with that. Or is it spreading the good message? And the other question is, do we have the results of our survey that we sent out?
So the results of the survey, I believe the survey closes on Tuesday. So we'll have full results there. And I don't know if Andy's on the line, who is the one who created the survey, but perhaps when we talk to Ontario, they'll have some more information on that survey for us.
I think another bit of good news. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, I was just going to sort of add that, you know, with respect to the article, look, it's not a great article if you read it. And the study was, you know, pretty arbitrary in terms of how it was conducted. But I think the point is here, you know, look, when you have a good headline, you probably need to spread that as opposed to having all the bad headlines out there. And, you know, at the end of the day, it talks about, it says, there's one paragraph in there that's very telling. And it discusses the fact that if combined with, you know, 1 to 2 meters of social distancing, combined with all the other measures gyms are putting in place, are sufficient to keep people, you know, relatively safe. And it points out what we've been trying to say to provincial governments for some time. So, you know, look, I don't think it's a smoking gun for the industry, but it's certainly not hurting us, for one. And so I would encourage you guys all to share that article on your social media and have most people just read headlines anyway. So the fact that, you know, 90% of people are just going to read the headline, I think that's a great win for us. And second of all, you know, we have actually used that article, and, you know, we've been pushing there's 2 jurisdictions that have come out recently, both Saskatchewan and recently this week, Newfoundland put guidelines out that cited 4-meter social distancing for group classes. We've kind of gone back at both of those governments this week, with a bit of some demonstration of information, as well as also talking about what the regulations were in other jurisdictions in North America. We were successful in Newfoundland in having them drop their guidelines for group classes from 4 meters to 2 meters. We have Saskatchewan evaluating that at this point as well. So, look, articles like this help, and I just think as an industry, it's not about nitpicking the details out of it. It's about promoting what for once is a good headline.
Yeah, a comment here on that, Blake. A takeaway from the article that was quite positive was you don't have to be farther than we initially expected. I mean, it didn't say, well, gyms were safe because everybody stayed 4 square meters away from each other, or 6. It was you stay away. So the idea that gyms are great spreaders because you're breathing heavier and breathing into the air, and there's people relatively close to you, it poses an extra risk. That article seemed to contradict that in the sense that if you kept your standard distance, that you're going to be as safe as you would anywhere else. So that kind of demystified, excuse the pun, the idea that we have to all stay about 15 to 20 feet away from each other when we're on a treadmill.
And one more thing I would like to add on that, we had the opportunity with Nathalie to meet a journalist from television last week. And one of the points that we were saying about that is the thing about our industry is that we are disciplined, because like you were saying before, Terry, there is no more risk if we follow the protocol. The thing is that people are not disciplined enough. So we are one of the industry that is the more disciplined. We are an industry that we are model for the other industry in the question of organization, planification, structure, coaching, discipline. And this is what I was saying to the journalists. We are an example in the day-to-day business since years and years. We are an industry of planification, coaching, discipline, structure. People that are part of our industry, member and staff, are also people that are disciplined, structured, organized. This is who we are. So, and this is why all the other industry now, when they talk about organization and structure and coaching, who are they taking an example? It's us. So I think that we need to add up to that, that not only, it's not just because it's written on a paper that we will do it. It's because as our industry nature, we are disciplined, organized, and structured people. And we respect the rules. That's who we are. So I think that we need to press over that, because rules are just good when they are applied and done properly with respect. And I think that we are one of the industry that we can say that a lot of people that participate in our industry are that responding to that very, very well. And we need to press on that. And I know that when we discussed that with the journalist, he reacted really strong to that. He said, oh my God, this is so true what you're saying. So we are an example. So let's again shine about who we are. It's the time now.
Yay, gyms.
Thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
You are
we
so
are disciplined
today.
We're strong.
Absolutely. Thank you for your words. I feel like you're really inspiring the group today.
Well said, Evelyn.
Thanks.
Based on what Evelyn said there, my concern is not that all the gyms are going to open safe. The concern is greater if they're going to stay safe once they open. We all know what human behavior is like. And, there's some of our members that were born with a sanitizer bottle in their pockets. and there are others on the other end of the spectrum. But I think the masses will, so to speak, monkey see, monkey do. And after a while, just like is happening in the States now, I think they started, of course, a little bit more recklessly, but human behavior will copy other human behavior. So I think the diligence of the staff will be key, because everybody's going to be on point when we open. But are we going to be on point in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6?
Yeah.
I think that's when we're going to see the truth, because people may get tired of being so strict. There's no cases, and all of a sudden we let our guards down, and before you know it, we have infections. So building these new systems into our daily habits will be absolutely necessary to make sure, everything that Evelyn talks about comes to pass and stays in place.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I
So
totally
let's
agree.
make sure that we lead by example. All right, so let's move on to our provincial updates. So today we will start with BC. So if Carl or Jeff want to begin speaking about BC.
I'll go ahead. Carl? Really not much to update. We've been allowed to be open in British Columbia since May 19th. And we've had no reported cases of fitness facilities in BC as of yet. Jeff, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but you guys can go ahead and ask questions as well. I don't know what else to add. As you know, I can talk forever, so
Carl,
I'll limit it to your questions.
Carl, I have a question for you. It's Mo from Ontario.
Hey, Mo.
How has your discipline of your associates and your members been to self-govern for sanitation and cleanliness? Like, how are they losing their endurance around this? Are they staying focused and disciplined? Love to hear that.
Yeah, well, I would say that the social norms, so Club 16 has been open since June 1st, and within the fitness facilities, I think so. As I think Tara is speaking on, the social norms has held everybody accountable to this point. I can see other businesses in British Columbia right now really relaxing, unfortunately. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I ordered the healthiest pizza I possibly could for my kids for dinner, and the pizza guy came up, and 2 weeks ago he would have had a mask on and a shield or something, and he wouldn't have handed me the Visa machine, but he just walked out of his car, no gloves, no mask, and handed me the Visa machine. So there's some relaxing going on in British Columbia, which to Terry's point is not great. But within fitness facilities right now, we've had some, we haven't really had any increase in escalations, incidents and escalations within our facilities compared to prior to COVID. People really understand that this is the new norm, but I am getting concerned based on some of the other businesses that have remained open and just relaxing a little bit. So I think that's something that we can anticipate in the fitness industry, and we do have to hold members accountable. And like I mentioned, I think last week, or maybe I didn't, I was working with my team on this, WorkSafe BC out here had mentioned, like, as long as there's signage up and the capacity to keep distance, hygiene, and protection, it's up to members to really monitor themselves, which kind of concerned me because within our group, we've hired people to monitor out on the club floor and ensure that people are following the rules. Well, really remind and be kind is what we call it, but that's the sole purpose of their position. So, you know, I don't know if I answered your question there, Mo, but for right now, it's still strong, but I can see it starting to relax at other businesses, and I do feel that it may start to be the same at gyms and fitness facilities. Jeff, I don't know what your experience has been.
Thanks for answering the question, and you did, so thanks very much.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I agree. It's still everyone is still cleaning up after themselves and keeping distance. And then members have no problem asking another member to do it either. So we're all good at policing ourselves, and we have extra staff still on the floor doing the same thing.
Fantastic.
Hey Trisha, this is Sheldon from Free Motion Fitness. I actually live in Vancouver, and I'm a member at Jeff's club, and I gotta say they do a really good job. I've been in your club as well, Carl, and both clubs are doing phenomenal. But I will agree with what Carl is saying. I talk to facilities right across Canada, and big and small, and some it's very worrisome. Some people are just, they don't care. They want to open for revenue. They're not following guidelines. I know of facilities that have opened that have done no social distancing, haven't invested like Carl and Jeff has in terms of sanitation protocols. And those are the guys that honestly WorkSafe BC is going to walk into. They're going to see what they're doing and they're just going to call quits for everybody. And so, you know, when I see somebody like that, I say something. So as a coalition, I think if we see somebody, say something, because they're not just affecting their facility, they're affecting our industry. And it's very, I feel like Carl, like being BC and Jeff, we've worked really hard here to keep our case down. And then when I get to have conversations with clubs and they're just like, well, I didn't do anything. I don't need to do anything. I've got a really good relationship with Vancouver Coastal Health. And it's like, what are you talking about? So, you know, as we're out there, if we see somebody like that, say something, because it's really going to hurt our industry. And that's, I agree with Carl. I'm really worried about just these little mom and pop guys opening up and not giving a crap about what needs to be followed. So good job, Carl and Jeff, and on reopening and sticking to the plan. And for everybody else, if you see somebody, just say something to them and make sure that they're following, because it's our industry that they're jeopardizing. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, it just takes one.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at social media, for example, and you can see the difference sometimes with the one store location. Not all of them. There's some fantastic one store locations that are following rules, but you can see like people, they're even putting on social media that there's 4 people around each other, like flexing or whatever. And those are the scary pictures that I see. And I agree. I think we all agreed on this call a couple of weeks ago that if we did see something, the first action would be to reach out personally. And do the same for me. If anybody sees anything at Club 16, I would truly appreciate you coming to me first so that we could deal with the situation. We were open to that.
I'd like to share 3 stories. So I saw 3 posts, 3 different operators, no social distancing occurring. I reached out to all of them personally. One of them really thanked me and said she'd put immediately the corrections in place. And, you know, she just didn't know. So the instructor didn't do a good enough job social distancing in the class. So she said the fix would be immediate. The next one, it was a CrossFit gym and everybody was hugging at the end. And they said, no, this is what we're doing. So I said, fine. And then I reported them, right? So I actually reported them to Alberta Health. And I said, this is not indicative of our industry association. This is not what we stand for. Please look into it. And they did. And the other one, they, you know, again, it was a larger group. They just didn't know that this was happening. So they said they would look into it, and I'm going to follow up today and see if they actually did. But, you know, I think we need to give them one chance to fix it. And then if they don't fix it, then we need to report it and say this is not indicative of the industry at all.
Absolutely.
Scott, just invite them to our calls on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know if that will happen, but yeah.
But you know, we have our employees, we have competitors, but us, we have franchises, and sometimes they just hide themselves, like it do not like happen. We were not closed for 3 months. It's important really to verify with your staff, with your owners and everything, that everybody understand that they do not follow rules. You gonna do it yourself, because you cannot take a chance that your name get totally destroyed by one. So even with the staffs, our customers say that we are really intense, which I like. I rather go that way than the other one. But double check with the staff, because some are just taking it super easy, like nothing was happening. It's crazy.
All right, well, thank you for that conversation. Always an important conversation to have, and sharing the stories like Scott just shared. So Scott, we'll just stick with you and move on to Alberta.
Okay, it was a great week in Alberta. We had a very productive call on Tuesday with the Ministry of Economic Development. So they really wanted to hear what's working, what's not working. And we had a great coalition. Alberta Recs and Parks were there. The Provincial Fitness Unit was participating. We had Orange Theory, we had Gym Movement, we had many small independent studios, and it was a great forum where people can express what's working and not working. And Blake, I think, did a great job speaking. And what came from that is their commitment that they're going to work with us to really look at the 3 meters in classes and see if they can reduce that over time. They were pretty shocked to hear how large the industry actually is in Alberta, and how many people are actually employed. And then we did speak to the impact of the 3 meters that has on the studios and the revenue impact. There was also encouraging words in terms of the rent program. Obviously it's federal money, but you can't be evicted in Alberta right now, and they are going to be working on expanding that language to see if there's, we can basically force landlords to negotiate in good faith to get back to where we need to get back to. So overall, it was a good meeting. Many facilities are opening up. Some are still in the process of opening up. Many are staying closed until the 3 meters can be relaxed. But I think overall we are on the right track. Blake, let me know if I missed anything.
No, and I just want to give Scott you a bunch of kudos for organizing that and for really leading the way with those discussions. I do want to say one thing though, that and it was part of our position with the Alberta government was that there are a lot of industries that are not taking this nearly as seriously as us. We are putting a lot of these measures in place, across the board. We're doing self-governing, kind of what Scott talked about. Our members are self-governing themselves, and the level of expectation for diligence is high on this industry. And so for that reason, our ask was to reevaluate all the guidelines every 30 days based on our track record. And the track record is some of the metrics we talked about is, are there any noted COVID infections? That have taken place, or has there been any outbreaks in any fitness facilities? And so that was the best probably ask we could make, to have them reevaluate this every 30 days. And to everyone's point before, though, I think that puts the onus back on all the operators on this call and within the industry to make sure that we do have a clean track record, that you are putting a lot of these measures in place, and that you're helping others in the industry live to those standards. Because it's only going to take one gym in Canada, one gym, one studio, one fitness facility, one yoga facility to hold an outbreak, and we all of our credibility as an industry will go out the window. So that's the only thing I'll add.
There was also a lot of support for the Prescription to Get Active program as a potential means to help recovery of the industry. And they are introducing us to the Alberta Medical Association and College of Physicians and Surgeons to actually start those conversations. So I think that's very promising.
Yeah, big week in Alberta. So let's see what's happening in Saskatchewan. Balal.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, not much new in Saskatchewan other than what Blake mentioned the other day. We're trying to get that relaxed, where we can have more people in classes, down to 2 meters from 4. But the big thing change we've had is we've been able to open our showers and locker rooms. And so that was the first week that we've done that. Lockers are available, showers are available. So we've done all the signage in the locker rooms, put all the signage up to explain to people how we're doing it. No towels still, no saunas, no steam rooms. That's the update here. And so far so good, I guess. Of course, attendance is right about at 2/3 for us, what it normally would be. And people are happy so far, members that are coming in. That's it for me.
Great, thank you, Balal.
Mm-hmm.
Manitoba, do we have Stephanie on the line? I don't see her, so maybe we'll go on to Ontario. So if Chuck is on the line, or if a representative of Ontario, I know a lot of things have been going on in Ontario, if anybody wants to speak to that.
Hey guys, it's Perry here. So if Chuck's not available, I'll give a quick update. Yeah, so from the call last week where Chuck did mention they did the presentation to the Premier's office, Brian heard a response on Tuesday because he just sent a formal presentation to him, and they were very, very responsive. But in typical political speak, they didn't commit to moving things forward. But it's daily. We're waiting for Doug Ford to announce the move to stage 3. Right now, it's still at stage 2. But positive things like in Ontario, like yesterday, there's only 111 new cases of of COVID, which one time we were averaging over 600 a day. So that's gone down. So long as it goes down every day, there's speculation that they'll have stage 3 open sooner rather than later, and they do it via the geographic regions. Northern Ontario with Ottawa first, Southwestern Ontario second, then Toronto third. So Toronto is in stage 2 right now. So they're opening all sports fields, public pools, baseball diamonds, tennis courts, things like that, splash pads. Public washrooms are actually opening on June 26th. They would also and for the last week, like patio's been open, you can get your hair cut again, all those wonderful things are crawling back to normal. So it is moving forward in a positive way. So we're just going to keep following up with the government, hopefully get it, move forward a little quicker. But that's kind of where we're at in Ontario, slow but steady, but getting there. And I just want to give a thank you to Carl, who assisted in the presentation to the Premier's office with the role, what he's done out in BC. So thank you, Carl.
Just to add to that, it's Brian Townsend here. I had that Oslo article that you'd sent out. I kind of downloaded that, dressed it up, highlighted the key points, and sent that on to Derek, who's Premier Ford's senior advisor, and the other 3 industry senior advisors, just to say, guys, here's some proof that they kind of wanted some proof from other countries that this is going well. So Derek had said that was a good piece. Just a quick reply to me. He's passed that on to the Department of Health so they can review it and they can run it up the flagpole again. So he's actually on our side. Good for him. He's a LA Fitness member and he's an Orange Theory member, so he's starting to get back into the gym. So that's all we can do. I've actually in my follow-up note to them saying we should be open in July. From
Sorry.
That we want to see the industry open up in July. So I think it's important to give a definite ask and not will you consider it.
One in the corner. I just brand new just bought it. That.
The other point that I was going to add on that Oslo theory article, because you're right, it's nice generic. But I think the more we stress about our standards and how safe we are with all of our standards, it could help us out when that second wave comes through and they start closing things down again. Stay open, which I think would be important.
I think somebody is not on mute. I'm not sure who, but if you can just check that you are.
Yeah, I have just muted. Dave, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, sorry. It shows I'm on mute here. I just took myself off.
Yeah, I just muted you. No problem.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you, Brian. Let's move on to Quebec. So Nathalie, if you could take it away.
Hi, everybody. I will make this quick because I actually want to give the opportunity for the 2 operators that are on the phone to let us know how their openings are going this week. Very briefly, there was actually a ministerial shuffle in Quebec in the last week. And so the last minister with whom we communicated quite significantly, and the last letter that we sent was to a minister who was in charge of the Treasury, as we were told that he was quite significantly impacting who was opening and not. And he is now the health minister, which we think is good because that's his new role and he's the the one who we think might have been able to push the opening of the gyms. He comes from the corporate world rather than the medical world, which is one of the decisions that our premier has made to put him in charge of that. And so we're hoping that using data and statistics related to healthcare costs and dollars and all of that will help continue the conversation with him as it relates to seeing our industry as a critical part of the preventative healthcare system. So that's the strategy with which we will continue those conversations. And the second quick bit is, well, Quebec's pretty much open as of yesterday. Everything is open, apparently. So bars, you can't dance in bars. So we'll call Kevin Bacon and see if he can fix that. In the meantime, yay to everybody's group fitness, because bars you can't dance in, overnight day camps can't open, and large festivals, but that's it. Everything got opened that day. So we're strangely grateful that we opened 3 days before bars did, and that we got a 5-day warning on openings, because yesterday they just announced that everything was opening up. So that's kind of what's happening here. And the two incredible leaders that we have on the phone. So Evelyne from Énergie Cardio, that's one of the largest chains and franchise clubs here in Quebec, and Mélodie from Idolem, that's franchise hot yoga studios are on. So maybe we'll start with Evelyne just to share a couple of things that have happened so far this week and congratulate them on their opening. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Nathalie. The first thing I would like to do is to thank Nathalie actually for all the work you did. She was the heart of the group that sustained all the work to help us in the opening, and it was a lot of work because, like she said, she had to go through different ministry and all that. So Nathalie, a big thank. She did a lot of volunteer time. She was there for everything. So thank you so much, Nathalie. So after 3 days, we did that in 2 phases. Us, in our case, we did a phase 1 this week that was just the opening of the gym, and next week it's going to be also the Group X classes. So we did that in 2 phases. The question here is, how did we do to control the 2 main focus, main focus, distance and hygiene. One of the things is, like everybody, we hired people to monitor it on the floor. That I think really is the most important if we don't want the discipline to go down. And the distance, the capacity, it's okay. We control very well. We didn't hit full capacity we hit it in 1 gym, but the 26 other, we didn't hit our full capacity. This reservation system is complex for the members, but we try to make them understand that reservation, it's not something that is obligatory. It's something to help you to make sure that you have a place. Like when you go in a restaurant, you can choose to use it or not, but that's it. So, but if you use it, you're sure you will work out. Our job is to control the capacity. And this is what we explain to people all the time. There is 2 things that is really what we focus on. How we control the capacity so we can control the distance between people, and how we clean up. And we repeat that to everybody. So that's basically it. The hygiene we did, like Good Life, we have a 15-minute of cleanup between each hour of workout. So that the staff very fast, they find out a way to make it work very well. It's going well. Members are very cooperative. Really, for the moment, we have only people that want to be part of that and want to participate. We have even some members that stay for the 15-minute cleanup to help us. So this is something we were not expecting. So, so that's very good for that. If we look at the sales, of course, because we are happy to reopen, but what is happening with the sales? So of course, the first week, it was a lot of staff management and member management, and to explain why we do things, and we bring that always to the two main principal subject: distance, hygiene. That's all. So everything we're doing, it's because of that. So a lot of education of the staff and education of the members. I had my first meeting this morning with all the franchisees to make a recap of the week. And like you were saying, Terry, before, very fast, the people, they want to say, you know what, can we slow down in that? And this is complicated. So after 3 days, I already had half of my gyms owners, a franchisee that wanted to slack in the procedure. So I just remind them all the thinking behind that, how to protect our industry, our company, and again, to come back to the two focus. So I think that our job, all of us, it's to be there for people, to answer fast to their answer, to be clear on the answer, that the reason why we're doing that, and to be very, very present. So the franchisee, they call me at any time, I will answer, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever. I don't want them to stay in their head 2 minutes, because when they spin alone 2 minutes in their heads, you know what I'm talking about, Melody? When I'm let them spin in their head, it's not spinning in the right direction, they slide down. So I think that we are the pillar of that, and this is our role. This is the way we're gonna make it solid, and after 60 days, it's gonna be part of the habits, and hopefully, but right now, this is our job to make sure that it happens, to be in contact with the people all the time, and to explain. The good thing is that, yes, we did new sales, so just good thing. I was happy not just to do resiliation or to do cancellation. We did new sales. Some people, they said that they came to us because they knew we were doing the right thing and they were confident in us. And I was very proud of that, and my staff also. And I said, this is the way, gang, we're gonna win that I don't say that war because it's not a war, but that we're gonna win. It's if we can show all the time that we are perfect. So that's the game. This is what I'm expecting from my people, and this is what I expect from me to deliver every day. And by talking with you guys, it's helping, because all together we think the same, and we need to keep that. Thank you to everybody.
Great job, Evelyn. Great example for us all.
Mélodie?
Bravo, Evelyne, c'est bien. Bravo, super. So, on our side, out of 12 studios, we were capable to open 3 with the short delay, of course. We were preparing the opening for a while with a good presentation for our students, and we were sharing, and we sent our code for the COVID for students. We developed one for the student to everybody through a newsletter, and people were really responsive to that, and it stopped the refund. After we really showed what we were doing in the studio, it really stopped those refunds. And when we had extra refund, we were taking phone and explaining it was okay, life was continuing, and we were doing like still the live, gonna stay, you know, the web, the outdoors classes too are there. So we were capable to keep those persons that wanted to live first. Secondly, we had 2 types of installation now. In some studios, we are doing the 2 meter between student, and in other studios, we created the live box that we create, which is a plexiglass EU that we produce ourselves. And we ordered from Japan and from China, sorry, and from the States, and to have more capacity and to be ready for September. This has a great response for the moment. For the sales, of course, we had new sales, but we're doing 30% compared to last year. But the capacity, the occupancy actually is quite, we have some studio that is higher than last year. And we have other studio that it's the same. It's actually really a difference of energy of the owner, really the vibe that he's having, the confidence that he have in the fact that he's here, he's ready, and he really prepare everything for the wellness of the student. That makes like really the difference. So we could see that the owners that prepare themselves for 3 months and are ready and assume that it's okay, they have way more percent, that others are more quiet. So, you know, go on your social media if you're not open yet, but show that you are getting ready. We are all doing a formation on Tuesday. It's an online formation for cleanliness and COVID and stuff like that. And we will receive a tag after that we can put in our doors showing that we were formed for that, which I like a lot. And what else? People are really happy to come back. We're so happy. Thank you, Nathalie, because I was like calling her every 2 days saying, Nathalie, I can't anymore. I'm going to open. I can't. And she was like, no, calm down. It's going to be okay. I'm like, okay, you're right. I'm going to stay calm. But I was really about to break everything. Like you are guys, Ontario, I don't know how you do, but really I send you all my energy. That's really hard. So we are really happy. People arrive with the mask because we asked for them to be in the common area with mask. And after the yoga class where they sweat a lot and everything, they take out the mask and they feel comfortable. So I think it's a big win for that. We're happy. We're gonna go through that summer and hope that September gonna be back to normal, which is my strongest stress, because I need to sell other franchises. So cross the fingers, and but still open. So voila, that's the resume.
Thank you, Melody. All right, so I don't see Rob here for PEI. I was wondering, Blake, do you have any comments for Atlantic provinces that you can share with us? Just quickly.
Sorry, I just had to get my mute off. Only just that it sounds like all provinces are, as of the 29th, from my understanding, are able to reopen. That 2 meters is the standard. So, you know, we have a studio opening in Bedford, Nova Scotia on Monday. The regulations and the guidelines are actually pretty good across the board. We had that little hiccup with Newfoundland, but I believe that's being corrected. And just for anyone that's on the phone from Newfoundland, we've received some written confirmation that the guidelines will be amended to 2 meters. So, you know, we're quite hopeful there, and we're looking forward to reopening in St. John's probably sometime early July. So that's all I can update you on.
Great, thank you, Blake. All right, so this brings us to the end of the meeting. So I want to thank everybody for sharing today. If there are any topics that you would like us to review as a group, please, please, please do not hesitate to contact me, and we will make sure that we bring it up in our next meeting, which will be next week, same time, same place. So we'll make sure that we can connect and talk about the things that are important to you. So with that, I will conclude our FIC Coalition meeting for today, and thank you all once again for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Trisha. I'll be sending
Thank
something
you very
along
much.
to you. Bye.
Thank you.